The drama surrounding the Indiana Fever has been a story the league couldn't stop talking about, but what's really going on inside that locker room is very different from the headlines. For months, fans and critics alike speculated that the Fever were a fractured team, weighed down by body language issues, hidden rivalries, and the overwhelming media circus surrounding Caitlin Clark's rookie season. But in a revealing, candid, and often hilarious interview on Sue Bird's Bird's Eye View podcast, Aaliyah Boston set the record straight. She opened up about her first impressions of Caitlin, their unique on-court chemistry, the so-called locker room drama, and how she's grown as a leader during one of the most pressure-packed stretches of her young career. Boston started with a story that perfectly captured her grounded and playful nature. When Clark joined the Fever, the memory of their epic Final Four clash still lingered. Clark had dropped 40 points on Boston's South Carolina team, a performance that etched itself into NCAA history. Most players would let that resentment simmer, but Aaliyah confronted it head-on, in her own way. She admitted she pulled Caitlin aside and joked, "I just want to say, I'm really upset that you did what you did in that Final Four game. You didn't have to go for 40 on our dome like that. You could have chilled." It was a moment that could have created tension, but instead it broke the ice. By addressing it, laughing about it, and then moving on, Boston showed that she wasn't holding grudges. She was ready to build something new. That instant respect laid the foundation for their budding partnership. On the floor, their connection became one of the brightest sparks of Indiana's season. Boston explained how much of their chemistry comes from Clark's passing vision and her own instinctive ability to read it. She literally watches Caitlin's eyes to anticipate the next move. If Clark's glance suggests a lob, a pocket pass, or a kick-out, Boston is already moving before the ball leaves Caitlin's hands. That's not just chemistry, that's a basketball IQ bond forged in real time. It's why their pick-and-rolls became so lethal and why defenses had to pick their poison. Double Clark and risk Boston eating you alive inside, or play it straight and watch Clark torch you from deep. Still, with Clark came what Boston called the Caitlin Clark effect. The Fever were suddenly under a microscope, every game a headline, every possession a viral clip. It was a blessing and a burden. The league had never seen this level of attention on a rookie before, and the Fever were expected to perform like a super team overnight. Boston, always candid, admitted the pressure weighed on her. She was already her own toughest critic, and when social media trolls piled on, nitpicking her body language, questioning her connection with Clark, she decided to log off. She refused to let outsiders define what was happening inside the locker room. And that's where Boston drew the sharpest line. Rumors swirled about rifts, about supposed tension, about a team on the verge of collapse. But Aaliyah shut it down. There was so much locker room talk, and I was like, what are we talking about? We're good, she laughed. At one point, she recalled waking up from a nap before a game only to see fans online claiming the Fever hated each other. When she walked into the locker room, she and her teammates looked around and said, "Girl, you good?" "Yeah, I'm good." "Okay, let's hoop." That was the reality. Not fractured, but focused. To Boston, the idea of a broken locker room was nothing more than outsiders creating drama where none existed. What really mattered was the playoffs. Indiana's 2024 run may have been brief, but it was eye-opening. Facing Connecticut, a veteran-laden powerhouse, the Fever got a taste of what playoff basketball is really like. Boston admitted the difference wasn't talent. It was experience. Connecticut knew when to strike, how to control momentum, and how to manage the razor-thin margins of playoff intensity. Indiana, young and hungry, wasn't far off. They lost, but Boston left convinced that if they had forced a third game back in Indiana, they would have won. That belief, that fire, has fueled everything since. By her third season, Boston's mindset shifted. No more sneaking up on people. No more moral victories. The Fever weren't just participants anymore. They were contenders. Free agency brought in veterans, the coaching staff shifted, and expectations skyrocketed. With Caitlin Clark by her side, Boston knew every team would circle Indiana on the calendar. Suddenly, they weren't the hunters. They were the hunted. And instead of shying away from the pressure, Boston embraced it. That resolve was tested harder than anyone expected when injuries hit the Fever like a storm. 6 key players, including Clark, went down. What could have been a death sentence became a proving ground. From day one, Boston said the team's motto was, "Next woman up." No excuses, no self-pity. If someone went down, the next player had to be ready to step in. That resilience became their backbone. Playing with and without Clark forced Indiana to develop two identities. With Clark, the game was fast, frantic, and high-octane. "Be ready to run," Boston said, because Caitlin pushes the tempo instantly, firing outlet passes and creating early offense before defenses can react. Without her, the Fever slowed down, grinding through half-court sets, forcing opponents to defend multiple actions deep into the clock. It wasn't worse or better. It was different, and that adaptability became their secret weapon. But even beyond tactics, losing Clark took an emotional toll. Boston admitted it was hard seeing such a competitive teammate sidelined, but the team rallied. Veterans like Natasha Howard, Kelsey Mitchell, Sophie Cunningham, and especially Sydney Colson became anchors. Colson, often seen as the teen comedian, revealed her deeper side. According to Boston, she knows exactly what to say and when to say it, keeping younger players grounded and confident. That balance of laughter and leadership kept Indiana steady when things could have unraveled. Now, as the Fever battle the Las Vegas Aces in the WNBA semifinals, that resilience is on full display. They're fighting through injuries, defying the odds, and proving that no amount of adversity can break their spirit. Boston has become the team's anchor, praised by head coach Stephanie White for being both the emotional center and the competitive fire they rally around. With the series shifting back to Indiana, the Fever aren't just chasing wins. They're making a statement. This isn't a fluke, it's the beginning of something real.